Well, absolutely. Actually, it happens to a certain degree to every CEO that participates in the class. As they go through the different modules, they start self-realizing and they can see through what they're learning that, gosh, I am part of the problem here because I'm doing exactly what I'm hearing I
Thank you, Sarah. Thank you. We appreciate you listening. And if you know of anybody that would be interested in, joining this program or applying, um, please, feel free to share this information because that's really what we're doing. And we want our economy to grow, but sometimes we as business owners have to grow first before our economy can grow. Okay? You too. Okay, so one of my questions, Jim, is what types of businesses participate in this program?
Well, program is open to pretty much all types of for-profit and nonprofit businesses. It's not open to government organizations or type businesses like that or organizations like that. It's really focused on businesses, and it doesn't make any difference whether it's a for-profit or nonprofit. We have, in our classes, have had a variety of industries represented, and I would like to say that we try to get as wide a variety of industries represented in each class as possible because there's a lot of cross-learning from one industry to the other, from CEO to CEO, and that makes the program much more valuable to the participants if we have businesses participating. Uh, Typically, our classes will have construction firms, electrical contractors. We've had a beauty salon. We've had a couple of medical doctors. Restaurants are very popular. They like the program. So it sort of runs the gamut. We also have information technology firms, data processing firms. Um, it's just a variety of firms.
And can you give me a sample of nonprofit? Because this is the first time I hear that nonprofits can also attend, and that's really good. They also need, collaboration on how to handle their books. A lot of, different laws have changed to nonprofits, and I hear more and more that they're getting in trouble for not keeping their books. They think because they're nonprofit, they don't have to do their tax returns. Because they're nonprofit, they um, don't have to have the accuracy in their books, board of directors, so much of legality that they're not doing because nobody is really watching them. But yes, there is people watching them. There is laws for nonprofits. So that to me, that something new that they can attend to this program. That's very
Sure.
good.
When it comes to nonprofits, we take a very close look at the nonprofit to see who they are, what they do, what their focus is, and we generally want to get a nonprofit that has something to do with the economy or helping employment or business growth or something related to that. Um, and of course, the nonprofit has to meet our eligibility requirements and sort of has to fit the mold, but just by being a nonprofit doesn't exclude a business from participating. But we do take a bit of a closer look at nonprofits to see, as we do with all business, that the program is right for that business and they're right for the course as well.
Okay. The next question is, how do I qualify to participate? I know we have requirements, and I would like you to tell us about them. But if you're listening and farmers, you get discouraged because you're not there yet, please, please, please please still keep this program in mind, or share with people that, can definitely, be able to apply. Because what happens is that, this program, and the reason why I like the program so much is because I was invited as an expert, financial expert, about 2 years ago. And I was sharing this with Jim, that, when I, came and sat among these, CEOs, I had a great experience. And I could identify myself with them, and also, I learned that even people that have been in business for years and years, I'm talking 20, 25 years, making $2 million, $3 million, that shows in their profit and loss. I was just, by them wanting to grow, by them wanting to understand how to take their business to the next level. And, to me, that is honorable. And this is why I, like this program so much. I just wanted you to know that. But I also want, Jim to tell us the requirements. And again, if you're not there yet, don't get discouraged. I'm pretty sure one day you will qualify for it.
Well, Brenda, let me start answering your question by saying who is not for the program
Okay.
right now, and that is startups and people thinking about starting a business. This just wouldn't be a good use of their time. What we are looking for the program are businesses that have been around for approximately 3 years. They're poised for growth, revenue in the approximate area of $400,000 a year, and have at least one employee besides the CEO. We're also very keenly interested in who we select for the program for different reasons. But we're looking for CEOs that admit that they don't know everything and are willing to learn, but also they're willing to share what they know with their fellow CEO participants, because a major part of this program is peer learning. CEOs learn a great deal from one another. And I can tell you from attending the classes, when you get 15 to 20 CEOs of successful companies together, it is an awesome force and a vast storehouse of knowledge. And it's a pleasure to watch the interaction of those CEOs. What we try to establish very early on is a environment where those CEOs are willing to start discussing some things that they may not be able to discuss with someone else in their business or their competitors, and certainly their spouse doesn't want to hear about it when they get home.
Exactly. Well, I can identify with that. When it comes to you being a CEO or a business owner, you have major commitment and sometimes you are already overwhelmed enough and you do not want to come and bring this home, or you don't want to talk to just someone. You would like to share this with another person that is living the same thing, that is, it can understand you, it can tell you, I've been there, but this is how I did it, or maybe, a mentor, right? So I completely understand that. I heard, so pretty much one of the requirements is that it has been in business for 3 years, correct?
Yes.
Okay.
However, that's the minimum requirement we're looking for. We have businesses in the program operation for 25 years and anywhere in between.
Anywhere between, okay. And the annual revenue again, Jim? That would be at least 400,000?
Yes, 400,000, and again, we have businesses in the program that greatly exceed that.
Mm-hmm.
There's no upper limit. Well, I would say there is an upper level in that businesses that have a huge revenue probably have all the systems and people and systems in place and wouldn't really benefit from the program.
So, and one more of the requirements is have at least one employee other than self, correct?
Correct.
Okay. Looking at very small businesses, and maybe not so small. Because again, my experience was sitting with the CEOs and, looking at their P&L. That was one of my jobs when I, volunteered as an expert, and I was pretty amazed. Now, one thing that caught my attention is, even though they had this, profit and loss reports, they had their balance sheets, they still didn't understand at their fully capacity what those meant. And that was part of my experience as, teaching them what to look for and how to, look at their revenue, their expenses, their cost of goods sold. To me, it was a pretty amazing experience. But again, the program, brought experts. And I would like you to elaborate a little bit on that, how the program brings experts from the community to assist them in understanding these reports.
Absolutely, Brenda. And let's take that part of the program, and I'll kind of answer your question talking about financial statements. We know from many years of experience that people who start businesses do it because they have a passion, they have a skill, they have a desire to provide a product or a service to someone. But we have not run across anybody yet that started a business because they like to go through financial statements or keep books or count the inventory at the end of the day. So CEOs, even very experienced CEOs, are very good generally at what they do, the product or service that they have. But a lot of them are not so good in the management of the business. And part of that, a very important part, is understanding their financials. They may have a cursory understanding. They may look at certain things monthly when they get their statements, using those statements to the full benefit. And that course goes into financial statements, and that's probably the first eye-opener session for the CEOs, is when they really are forced to start looking more deeply into their own financial statements. So what we do is organize the class into small groups of 4 or 5 CEOs per group, and we will bring in guest expert mentors such as Brenda, CPAs, former controllers, people that really understand financials, to sit down with that smaller group and to go through the financial statements that the CEO participants bring from their companies, and they start to look more deeply into those statements. And what they're looking for is what is, out of all of these numbers, what's really important to the success and growth of my business? What are the numbers on those statements that I should be really focusing on? And is there a way I can create a dashboard to track those things better than I'm able to do now? The intent is not to make the CEOs CPAs, but to give them a better idea of how to find and use their financials to grow their business and to be successful.
Absolutely, because at the end, the bottom line is what matters, correct? Let's take another break, and when we come back, we will hear more about the Emerging Leaders Initiative program. Thank you.